Howdy folks, John here. Another little driving rant, not very long one though this. In short, if the mainstream media and the government think that we're going to just forget about the last 2 years worth of tyranny just because of stuff happening with Russia and Ukraine, they've got another thing coming. There is no way on this earth that we're going to forget and allow them to just sweep this shit under the fucking plate. No fucking chance. The last 2 years has cost people their lives, their livelihoods. It's cost me my mum. It's cost me a stack of money on my business. It's put me into a huge backlog of photo and video editing that's going to take me forever to catch up on. It's affecting my own stress. It's affecting my own mental health because of the stress of, you know, I've got customers dying for their photos and videos, and I'm working as fast as I can, but it's because I had to shift nearly 2 years worth of work like everybody else did. I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm bloody lucky. I didn't go out of business like a lot of other people, you know. Now, I don't really want to talk too much about Russia and Ukraine, but what's going on doesn't match, because why is my Telegram group account, my page, why is it filled with, mainstream media and Ukrainian media and Russian media all jumping on old photos and old video clips and clips from fucking computer games, for Christ's sake? You know, making out like there's been attacks here and attacks there and wounded people here and there and everywhere. And then when all you do, you take the photographs that the mainstream media are putting out, and you take that picture, store it on your computer or your phone, and you go and do a reverse photo lookup using a thing called TinEye. TinEye, right? You go there and you'll use that search engine, and it'll look far back, as far as it needs to see if that or very similar photos pop up in history on other websites, right? And that's how we're doing it. We're taking what the mainstream media stick out, you know, like, oh, here's a street that's been bombed to pieces and there's some kids with blood all over them sitting on the floor, you know, or whatever, just to kind of generalize. And you search it with reverse photo lookup, and oh look, it was 10 months ago or 2 years ago, and we saw exactly the same thing with the last 2 years worth of stuff, especially when India sprung up last year, was it? I think the beginning of last year. And there was the notorious photographs of somebody lying unconscious in a gutter with debris of a drain pipe next to them, and there was somebody that was tending them wearing a purple and black or purple and white polka dot dress with white leggings. It was exact. And those photographs were put up on mainstream media, being related to an outbreak of thingamajig in India last year. I think it was around May, actually, thinking back, actually, because when you looked at where those original photos came from, the exact same photos were used 10 or 11 months earlier when there was a gas leak at a gas refinery in India, and because that type of gas, whatever it was heavier than the air in the atmosphere, it sunk to the ground like dry ice does in a theatre, rather than smoke fluid that smokes away, and it suffocated and killed a lot of people. And that was when they had the oxygen bottles knocking about on the street, and that was when they had the oxygen shortage, because they needed more bottles that were portable. That's just one example. Now, YouTube censor people, it's no good trying to censor this video, because I have not mentioned a single conspiracy theory. I have not mentioned anything other than what the mainstream media have put out. And lo and behold, yet again, all us conspiracy theorists, all us tinfoil hatters, we're about a year to 2 years ahead. We already know this stuff. Now, there's so many things that you can't or couldn't say on any of the Google and, you know, the tyrant-controlled social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, all those, Instagram. that you couldn't say a year to 2 years back. You couldn't say it without getting kicked off, banned, shadow banned, temporary bans, having stuff deleted, being put on the naughty step basically. And you can say those things now because the media has crept up, because they creep little bits out. Oh, we'll just give them bits of truth, just a little bit of truth there and a little bit of truth here. You know, we can't be seen to make out like these last year's tinfoil hatters have actually turned out to be spoiler alerts. But I'll tell you what, right, like I said at the beginning of this video, if the government and the mainstream media think that just because the news is filled with Russia and Ukraine stuff right now, if they think that we're going to allow this COVID stuff to go unpunished, then think again. Because there are massive law firms and there is massive class action coming and there is Nuremberg trials coming, and we want criminal trials. We want all these MPs and politicians and world leaders and all these corrupt doctors like the ones we've had running the gaff and the ones America have had running the gaff. We want all of them with their heads on fucking spikes. And that's what we're going to aim for, people. We're not going to put up with this shit. We want all of them taken through court. We want them in the dock at The Hague, and we want them tried, and we want them punished.